Good afternoon, everyone. It's November the 5th, 2024. Big day for the United States there. They're having their presidential election, and it's quite contentious if people have been watching what's going on, possibly close. So it's going to be watched very closely by millions of people around the world, and even here in Canada, like myself, because we, as you know, our people realize that America and Canada are we're the biggest trading partners between each other. So what happens down south on the other side of the border also affects us as well. So it's going to be a very interesting night, and depending on how it goes, it could even just take a few days before we can get an absolute confirmation of who is actually going to be the next president, and deal with how that government is going to, that new government will be formed as well. So this could be a very historic election for them. So I hope everything goes well for them, and I pray that America is safe, and we're all safe, as I've often said. So we shall see what happens in that, and everyone take care on that, and I hope everyone does watch it to see what happens, because it's going to be a very big one, historical wise, I'm sure, from what is being stated and happening below south of our border. So, but as today, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about some comments from one of my viewers again. And this is a comment that I received from her. And I mentioned fire prevention in my new stream. But yes, these fires being started is another thing that has to be focused on now. And my response to her was trying to cover as much as possible. This is one on the fires that needs to be addressed. It is people's safety at stake. We have been lucky that we have not had injuries or worse. So this is an ongoing problem, and this was my response to her. But we all have to be vigilant in this particular case, because we're not living in the same world that we used to. It's certainly not as safe as what it used to be, but people are coming together and trying to work on things now. But it's going to be a long, I believe, recovery process after the definitely the COVID-19 pandemic. So we're coming around. And she also sent me another comment that I didn't reply to, but I'm going to say the comment at first, and then I'm going to do a little bit of replying to this particular comment over the air. I agree about kids, teens being targeted by people who do deal drugs and or prostitution, in brackets human trafficking. We have an immigrant mother and her little boy who used to come to the community breakfast, a young lady known for her drugs, etc., being friends with a known prostitute and into drugs, and again in brackets, and more, always played with the boy, and it made me concerned. The boy is now in preschool, but because the mother does not speak good English, and having these kind of people going to her is concerning. I plan action, but have to be careful. This is one of the things that I've noted too, and I can go right back into the 1990s when the street gangs first started up. This was what was happening. There was a lot of immigrants coming in from outside the country. Their children would be they'd be trying to immerse them in our society, and it was very, very difficult. And there was a lot of dangers that they were not aware of that we were aware of. And language was certainly one of the barriers that we had at the time. And of course, Canada being we have two national languages, both French and English. So if a pamphlet is put out, it's automatically put out both in French and English, so we can understand what's being said. But it is very difficult when you have many languages coming in from various countries, and so you have a language problem. And so people started realizing that now more and more we're actually putting written languages out in other languages for other people coming into the country. So hopefully this is going to help some. But this is a very, very complex, kind of disturbing, because obviously it's easy to make friends with people, and one of the things I know, and I've seen before, prior, back in the 1990s, to befriend the kids, and then because the parents definitely did not speak English or French, whichever was the case, it was easy to pull the wool over people's eyes, and start betraying and getting these kids involved into things, and them themselves, because they didn't understand what was going on. So this is an ongoing problem. Now, I'm very lucky, in a sense, where I am in my building, as there are immigrants coming in, and if there's a language problem, and something's happening and we're trying to sort it out, and of course if they don't speak good English or French, that can be a problem. But as I said, I've been very lucky because one of the tenants here happens to speak 6 different languages and is more than happy to help out and translate for us. So it saves a lot of squabbles and problems with the new immigrants coming in, because we can explain to him, and then he can explain to the new person coming in their language what's happening. So actually, this is what I'm saying, translators are very, very much needed with the immigrant population coming in, so everyone can speak their piece and we can all understand each other, so we're not all at each other's throats. So that is a very good one. And then the next comment that came in was, she was saying, no cameras on my floor or one above me. That's where all the trouble happens, of course. And the back has no cameras there as well. Just neighbors who hopefully have cameras or work to help out. So this is not good for her. And my response to her was, we had about 6 or 7 grainy cameras for years. Because of privacy concerns, you have to have a very good reason to even get cameras put in. Now with the drug crisis, it has become easier to see the need for cameras. We now have at least 20 cameras to watch over us, and updated and clear pictures. Maybe you can advocate to get cameras put in your building. Now this is another one of the problems that we're seeing too in a lot of the social housing, is without the cameras, people are fighting on the floors, outside in the hallways and the stairwells, and everything's breaking loose, and there seems to be no control. Now, since the cameras have been put in our building, we're seeing at the moment an improvement, but we're still not into full winter yet, but we're just holding our breath. But so far so good. We're having very little problems at the moment. The odd one person gets in, and then they get kicked out of the building. So it's still, we're seeing a little bit, but nothing to compare to what the pandemic was like, and up until even into last year at the moment. So hopefully the cameras are working. It seems to be that they are at the moment, and I know a lot of us feel better having the cameras at the same time. So I just wanted to brief everybody where things are right now, and I hope everyone has a good evening there, because I know everyone's going to be watching the presidential election. Definitely this evening, I know I am, because it does affect Canada. What happens in the United States comes here, and I can probably elaborate a little more on that as well in another video. But I just wanted to pop in and say hello to everyone, and let people know comments are still coming in on some of my videos, and I'm grateful for the people who do put in comments such as that, so that I can address them to people and let people know what's happening. So everyone, be safe, watch your surroundings, and have a nice day, and have a good evening, and we shall talk again soon, and bye-bye.